WXII 12 News at 11 starts right now.
They want to live in Fantasyland.
Strong words from a local judge after her presentation prompts a formal apology from a middle school to its parents. Governor Cooper unveils his 2-year spending plan for North Carolina. Look at some of the issues he's focusing on and why his plan may have a very difficult time making it through the state legislature. 5 days and counting until the start of spring, and we are still using this graphic. I don't like it. Freeze warnings in effect for a third consecutive night. Lainey, we are getting used to these chilly mornings, but it doesn't mean we want them to last.
Yeah, we've got another impact night tonight with temperatures that'll be down into the mid to upper 20s by tomorrow morning. Kenny, widespread freeze expected across the area. And yeah, these are the counties that are under that warning. Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Burlington, Lexington, Asheboro, all included. Everyone is going to have freezing temperatures tomorrow morning. The warning is just for the Triad. We're already freezing in Martinsville at 32. We've got 33 in Reedsville and some upper 30s from Lexington over to Greensboro. 43 right now in North Wilkesboro. One thing that's different tonight is the winds are calm, at least for now. That's going to enable those temperatures to drop very quickly. We're not the only ones dealing with the deep freeze that stretches all the way down to Florida. We do have clear skies. The temps will continue to go down. It will be in the upper 20s by tomorrow morning. In fact, for several hours we should be below freezing. Most of the overnight is spent below freezing in the foothills, bottoming out at 27 tomorrow morning. And in the mountains, we've got a freezing night for sure. We're down to 26. I'll be back though to talk about some warmer days that are coming up.
Lainey, thank you. The start of the men's NCAA basketball tournament is a little more than 12 hours away. A lot of sports fans consider these next 4 days to be the best 4 sports days of the year when we go from the 64 top teams in the nation down to the Sweet 16. Kara Peters joins us from Greensboro tonight with a look ahead.
Kenny, the fun and action continues here in Greensboro. Just to give you an idea of how popular this tournament is, last year alone, over 17 million brackets were filled through ESPN. And now for those that want to get a taste of the tournament, you have the chance to do so tomorrow. All 8 teams that are playing here in Greensboro have open practice sessions tomorrow. They run from noon to 8 and are free to the public. Now you can see some video from the ACC of crews putting the floor together. Xavier, Kennesaw State, Iowa State, and Pitt are all part of the Midwest region bracket, while Kentucky, Providence, Kansas State, and Montana State are doing the battle in the East region. There are a total of 4 games on Friday, then 2 more on Sunday. And as you saw, there have certainly been a lot of fun and busyness happening in the city. In fact, just tonight alone, we have spoken to several hotels who tell us that they are completely booked for the weekend. Here in Greensboro, I'm Kara Peters, WXII 12 News.
Kara, thank you. The WXII 12 sports team has you covered when it comes to our 2 in-state ACC teams in the tournament. Unfortunately, none of them playing in-state this time. Sports director Lauren Walsh is down in Orlando with Duke. Round 1, that gets underway tomorrow against Oral Roberts tomorrow night. John Johnson made the long trip out west. He is with NC State in Denver, Colorado, as they try to pull off the upset against Creighton Friday afternoon. We'll check in with Lauren and John coming up a little bit later in sports. North Carolina lawmakers are once again working on a bill that would legalize sports gambling in our state. Supporters have introduced new legislation that would include the ability to gamble legally on college sports. That provision was not in last year's bill. The new bill also raises the tax that gambling operators would have to pay the state, a 14% fee. That's up from 9% a year ago. This bill has bipartisan support in the state legislature, and if it's successful, it would kick in January of 2024. Speaking of money, Governor Roy Cooper is out with his proposed budget for the next 2 years. It faces a very difficult challenge in the General Assembly. The budget calls for increasing spending by about 20%. That is double the rate agreed to by Republican leaders in the State House and State Senate, where the GOP has strong majorities. The governor says big spending is needed for future employment to recruit and retain teachers as well as state workers. The budget will go before lawmakers tomorrow. However, Senate Leader Phil Berger of Rockingham County has already called it an irresponsible and unserious proposal. The governor's spending plan also includes beefing up the state's mental health services.
My budget proposes using a portion of the $1.7 billion Medicaid expansion signing bonus to create I Hope Fund, which stands for Improving Health Outcomes for People Everywhere. There is a mental health crisis in our country, but we can make progress here in North Carolina with the right investments.
Governor Cooper's plan also includes 18% average pay raises for public school educators in addition to bonuses. It would also raise the base pay for first-year teachers from $37,000 to $46,000 in the fall of '24. Tomorrow, he plans to highlight the budget investments in education during a stop at Northern Guilford High School. House Republicans are aiming to pass its version of a two-year budget by early next month. The Senate will then approve its own bill, leading to negotiations to get a budget enacted before the new fiscal year begins on July 1st of this year. Happening now, Winston-Salem police say they believe a 21-year-old man was shot this evening during an exchange of gunfire. Investigators say this happened at the intersection of Castle and Champlain Streets, just off of South Main, at about 6:45 tonight. The 21-year-old who was shot is being treated for serious injuries. No suspect information available at this time. New tonight, a man who's been arrested more than 75 times in his life has accepted a plea deal in a 2021 drug case out of High Point. Anthony Coleman will spend between 19 and 25 years behind bars. High Point police arrested him back in February of 2021 and charged him with trafficking and being a felon possessing a firearm. Officers executed a search warrant and seized, they say, almost 600 grams of meth and more than 150 grams of fentanyl. An inmate in the Forsyth County Detention Center continues to recover tonight after folks there say he was attacked by another inmate who used a makeshift weapon. This happened Monday. Authorities say prisoners nearby in the housing unit stepped in and stopped the attack from potentially being even worse than it was. Omar Sanchez is charged with assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury. He was already being held without bond on a first-degree murder charge for a deadly May 2022 shooting in Winston-Salem. Investigators tonight are looking into the cause of a deadly house fire. It broke out early this morning in Summerfield just before 5 o'clock at a home along Horseshoe Drive. The fire department tells us it was contained to one side of the house. A family dog also died in this fire. Tonight we're hearing from a judge after some parents in the Davie County School District said they were upset with some of the language used during an assembly on Monday. District Court Judge Mary Covington spoke to students about the dangers of sexting and various reasons that middle schoolers could end up in court. She used explicit language which made some students and their parents feel uncomfortable. Others were quite upset. Judge Covington spoke with our Maria DeBone and said it was never her intention to offend anyone, but says she's been doing this presentation for years and in her view this is the reality middle schoolers face nowadays.
It's a graphic presentation. It just is, because these kids are doing graphic things and the parents don't want to know what their kids are doing. They want to live in fantasy land.
According to an email sent out to William Ellis Middle School parents yesterday, the presentation has been a part of Davidson and Davie County school systems for over 10 years. Principal Cassandra Morrison in the email said in part, "During our visit yesterday, one of the speakers used explicit language to describe some of the cases she has overseen. It was not our intention to expose them to this type of language at any time. Had we known this was part of the program or a possibility, we would not have allowed the speakers to address our students."
When we were asked to speak and we told them we would prefer the sixth graders not to be in there, we were told adamantly, no, we want the sixth graders in there. Should we soften the language, I asked? No, do it just like you normally do it.
Judge Covington said she's seeing kids in 4th and 5th grade in her courtroom right now. That's why she says it's important to teach them at the middle school level about the laws and the dangers of sexting.
I would love to say I apologize. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I'm a person who is out there trying to make a difference. If I was offensive, that was not my intention. My intention was to make a difference and to get some attention on this subject.
Maria DeBone reporting. Davie County Schools spokesperson Jeff Wallace said they're currently evaluating this program. City of Greensboro is looking for input on changes that residents would like to see along 3 high-traffic roads. City and state leaders are looking to redesign the Battleground Avenue section, Lawndale Drive, and Westover Terrace corridor, an area that some people describe as congested and worrisome.
I've lived in the area. I'm a runner, and it was always dangerous to run in this area just with how crazy traffic is.
You hear cars honking all the time, and you look and see someone turning left instead of right, like going into oncoming traffic, that happens a lot.
The City of Greensboro and the State Department of Transportation are looking to address those concerns and hear from residents and workers in the area about what they would like to see. The public input session is set for March 27th at Guilford Park Presbyterian Church on Fernwood Drive. You can also provide feedback online through the City of Greensboro's website. Still to come tonight, anticipation in Amarillo. The first arguments in what's being called the most significant legal battle over abortion since Roe v. Wade. And a little bit later, a new top dog in the U.S. breaking a 31-year-old record. You're watching WXII 12 News.